Evet, teknolojileri konuşurken tabii uluslararası piyasaları da takip etmeyi malumunuz unutmuyoruz. Özellikle şimdi biraz teknoloji ilerledikçe artık uluslararası piyasalarda neler oluyor? Ben sadece Türkiye'de mi işlem yapmak zorundayım? Tabii ki değilim. Uluslararası piyasalarda ne gibi avantajlar var? Ne gibi hizmetler var? Ne gibi imkanlar var? Bunları takip ediyoruz. Sonuçta burada ciddi bir fırsat var. Birazdan biraz tabii ufkumuz açılacak. Aynı zamanda tabii burada bulunmamızın da sponsorlarından birisi CBOE'nun satış direktörü Sayın Richard Barden'ı alkışlarınıza sahneye davet ediyorum efendim.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the biggest stage I think I've ever been on. Believe it or not, I play in a rock band, and I've never been on a stage this big. So that's a first. So just bear with me while I work out what we're doing here. Right. Okay. So again, thank you all for having me here today. Along with trying to give you a quick run-through of international stock trading, part of the reason for me to be here is from a few of the conversations I've had sort of yesterday and today, there are a few misconceptions, misunderstandings about how you can trade international stocks, where you can trade them, and most importantly, how much it's going to cost you. That seems to be the biggest concern, that everyone has. So just to start with who am I, why am I here? My name is Richard Barden. I work for a company called CBOE, which is the Chicago Board Options Exchange. That's why we've created an acronym. We run the biggest options market pretty much in the world. If any of you are familiar with trading options, that's where the SPX and the VIX options have been trading. A lot of volume in the last 24 hours on those contracts, as you can imagine. We also, though, operate a range of equity exchanges across the world. So we have equity markets in the US, in Europe, Canada. We also operate equity markets in Australia and Japan. And that's really what I'm going to try and talk to you about quickly, is how you can trade both US and European equities simply, easily, and cost-effectively using the services of someone like ForInvest and data through someone like CBOE. So let's have a look at the US, and I'll try and give you a little bit of very, very high-level background as to how the US market has got to where it is right now in terms of equity trading. So in the US, there are 16 stock markets, soon to be 17, because there's another one going to launch. And all of these markets offer trading in the same 11,500 symbols. So CBOE operates 4 of those markets. So if you wanted to trade Tesla, or Apple, or Google, or Netflix, different to how the situation is here in Turkey, where there is a single exchange. In the US, the land of competition, there is competition for share trading with exchanges as well. So there are 16 venues. Those are just the exchanges, by the way. There are 16 venues in the States, exchanges where you can route your order to, and you can trade Apple on them. So you don't have to go to NASDAQ, you don't have to go to NYSE to trade US stocks. You can choose those exchanges if you want to, but you have competition. You can put your trade, you can and get your data from different places now. That's the main point here. In terms of how the US market got to where it is now, there was some regulation in 2005 called Reg NMS, or Regulation National Market Size. And that had a number of different elements to it. But one of the main elements for Reg NMS was it changed the order protection rule. So it meant that your trade didn't have to go to a specific exchange that was offering a worse price. Those exchanges had to route your order to a better exchange. So that really freed up competition amongst exchanges. So the exchanges were forced to send your order to the best venue. And one of the ways that you can tell whether you're getting the best price or you're getting close to the best price is using something called the NBBO, the National Best Bid and Offer. We as a venue, CBOE, we benchmark all of our trading against where we are in relation to the NBBO, the National Best Price. Now, as you can imagine, it's an extremely competitive market in the US. There are 16 exchanges, and everyone is trying desperately to get your business. CBOE operates 4 exchanges. They're up here. ForInvest, for instance, have connected to the EdgeX exchange, the third one of those. And the important point, which I'll come to in a second, about what you can do with your US trading flow now is the ability to choose based on the liquidity, so how good is the price I'm going to get from the venue, as well as how much is it going to cost me to get access both to that venue for data and for trading. Those are the 2 key points you really need to remember. CBOE and the market, as I said, it's very competitive. As you can see, the top 3 exchanges here are all within 2 or 3% of each other in terms of trading volume. So there's no clear winner or loser anymore. It's not like if you go to the New York Stock Exchange, they have 50% of the market in their own stocks. That's not the case anymore. Everyone has, broadly speaking, from the top 3 exchange groups, roughly the same kind of liquidity. So that's the first point to remember. The second point is, how much is this going to cost me? And that is where someone like ForInvest can help guide you in terms of being able to give you the best set of alternatives, the best options you have in terms of where you want to put your US trading flow, and also, most importantly, the data. Just one point to mention here that is quite important is there are basically 3 areas of separation in terms of US and European equity trading. So where a stock lists, no longer bears any relation to where it trades, and you don't need to get data from that venue in order to have an accurate picture of where that stock is trading. Because there are so many different exchanges now, it's important to remember that you don't have to go to the listing market to get data, and it's important then to be able to compare between the different venues as to the liquidity and how much it's going to cost you. Let's try and move on then to the European equity market. It's a similar picture, trading in Western Europe, as it is in the States. The current market structure was created by a piece of regulation called MiFID, which some of you here may have heard of. It's the Markets in Financial Instruments Directive. And that basically got rid of what was known as the concentration rule. So up until that point, if you wanted to trade BMW in Germany or Vodafone in London or Renault in Paris, you were forced to send that order to the national exchange. 2007, the EU decided that they wanted competition between trading venues. And so the concentration rule was broken, and you at that point could then send your order to any venue that was listing that instrument. The other point about MiFID was it created something called MTFs, and the company I work for, CBOE, we operate what's known as an MTF. It's by far the biggest MTF in Europe. However, with competition, you quite often get fragmentation, and Europe is no different to the US. There are, believe it or not, 41 different trading venues now where you can trade BMW, Vodafone, Renault, etc. So it's a very complex picture when you look at it from the outside. So the question you're asking is, if there's 41 different trading venues, how do I know where I can get a good price for my stock? This is a bit more background here. I won't labor on that. But the important point here is, there are a lot of different markets in Europe, all trading the same stocks. As you can see, CBOE, believe it or not, is the largest European equities exchange. So we will offer you as good a price if you want to trade UK, German, French, Italian, Spanish stocks, as you'll get on any of the national exchanges. Again, you don't have to route your order or take your data from the national exchange to get either a good price or to get value for money anymore. You have choice. This is a little bit of a pitch, obviously, for CBOE, but I won't pitch it to you. But one thing I will say, and this comes back to the cost point that I've had come up in a few of the conversations I've had. We don't have any end-user fees for retail traders. So if you want to offer trading in European equities or ETFs to your clients, and you're worried that it's going to cost you a lot of money, and there's going to be a lot of admin because you've got to count and report all the users, that won't be the case with CBOE. You can just buy the data, put it on your website or your trading app, and then everyone can get access to it, and that's all you have to worry about. I ran through that. Thank you very much indeed for your time. If you've got any questions, I don't know whether I'll answer any now, or if you would prefer, it would be great if you've got questions about how can I trade US stocks, European stocks, how can I get the data? I'll be circulating around, during the coffee breaks and afterwards, so it would be great. If you've got any questions, please come up and talk to me. I would be delighted to speak to you. Okay, thank you.